that CCTV and audio recording is now in operation in the public gallery. The recordings will be held by the council for 5 months. Now, please note, a fire alarm test is not expected, so if alarms do sound, you should immediately make your way out through the nearest exits, which are here and here. Right, agenda item 1, apologies, I don't believe we have any. I would like to ask the members present to introduce themselves. I assume we're saying when they first speak.
Declarations of interest.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes, okay, declarations of interest. Councillor Willingham has made an independent site visit, yes. Has anyone else made an independent site? Okay. Any other declarations of interest? No. Right. Because this is a regulatory item, members must be present and have heard the proceedings in their entirety to vote on this item. We will ensure that the applicant and the applicant's representative, if they have one, are present at the meeting. I will ask the licensing officer to introduce the report. Members will get the opportunity to ask licensing officers questions. Then the applicant or their representative, if present, will get the opportunity to ask the licensing officer questions. The objectors will be given the opportunity to ask licensing officer questions. Then the objector will be given the opportunity to speak. We ask you limit this to no more than 10 minutes if possible, please. Members and applicants will be given the opportunity to ask questions, to ask the objectors questions. The applicant or their representative will be given the opportunity to present their application and make their case. We ask applicants to also limit their time to no more than 10 minutes if possible, please. Members can ask the applicant question. Objectors can then ask the applicant questions. The applicant will be given the final right of reply, and members will then retire to debate the matter and to write a decision notice. Members will return to the chamber and the chair or licensing officer will deliver the outcome. So I would like to invite Michelle, the Licensing and Public Protections Manager, to introduce the report, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. We're here today to determine the review of a pavement licence for Japes 23 to 25, the Promenade, Cheltenham. The pavement licence was issued on the 11th of March 2025. Apologies for the error in my report, which stated 2023. The licence was granted for the full period of 2 years, which is permitted under the Business and Planning Act 2020. Whilst there were no formal objections received as part of the consultation, there was a comment received from the marketing and events team at Cheltenham Borough Council with regards to the extent of the proposed area. The plan was aligned with the Bella Italia licence, which operated on the site previously. No condition was added with regards to removing furniture when markets are in operation, although that was a question raised by the events team. This is attached on the neighbouring business licence, Hufkins, and was an oversight on part of the licensing team for not providing advice that that licence condition could be imposed. It is also a condition that is proposed in the future pavement licensing policy. Since the licence has been issued, the licence holder has had disputes with the operating markets over who has the right to use the land. Attempts have been made to find a common ground, including asking them to voluntarily reduce the area whilst markets are operating and be able to use the area closest to their business. Markets have amended their layouts, but at times the space can be constricted and not easily accessible by pedestrians, including wheelchairs and pushchairs. The licensing authority must be seen to be supporting local businesses as well as the markets who host a wide selection of local traders and add vibrancy to the town centre. The licence is being reviewed as a last resort to determine the scope of the pavement licence while markets are in operation so that the highway remains accessible by all highway users. With regards to compliance, the licence holder didn't adhere to the original layout of the pavement licence and cited permanent planters outside the premises. However, a remedial notice was served on the 1st of May and the licence holder is now compliant with the furniture and layout of the plan. The licence holder was offered the opportunity to submit a written representation, and these have been circulated on Monday this week. This includes a letter from Cheltenham Bid, the local MP Max Wilkinson in support of the premises, and an email from one of the market operators stating that they are happy for the seating to remain in place, except for when the Christmas market is taking place. You'll notice from the licence holder's submission that he's also happy with the Christmas market being in place. The licence does have a condition attached to it whereby the licence can be varied or revoked at any time. It was agreed that for reasons of transparency and fairness that the case should be referred to the licensing subcommittee for determination. The committee must determine the application with the view of promoting inclusive mobility on the highway. The committee should also ensure that there is a balance between businesses and markets that are sited on the promenade. With this in mind and taking into account this report and the evidence it hears today, the committee can resolve to either make no changes to the licence, impose a condition or conditions on the licence, amend the licensed area or revoke the licence. Thank you.
Any member questions? Councillor Willingham.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to query what the sort of notional first dates of operation were for licences for this premises and also for the markets, i.e. the order in which the various markets have had their first licence granted, assuming effectively renewals are there, have happened annually. So which operators were there first, as it were? Or the dates.
Thank you, Chair. So this licence was issued in 2023, but there was a previous licence issued for Bella Italia. I haven't got the date to hand. Jake can probably find that if you need it. The farmers market was issued in November 2005, and the current operator took over in 2020. Christmas market was 2007. The arts and crafts market was 2008. Antiques and vintage market was 2021. That's a relatively new market to the town centre. Continental market was 2008 and the vegan market was 2023. That's still quite a new market. Would you like us to find the date of Bella Italia?
I'm assuming that the licence would have lapsed when the premises closed. So this one was issued in 2023 first. So it postdates the markets is the general question.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, this licence was issued in 2025.
Are there any more member questions? No. Mr. Hunter, do you have any questions of the officers?
Yes, just to follow on, just to confirm, the licence has been in existence at that premises from 2005 originally. I think this is important because the licence for outside seating does predate those of the markets.
Is that your only question?
Thank you, Chair. I can actually confirm it is 2003 that Bella Italia was issued originally.
Councillor Willingham?
Did it have any conditions about relevant to things on the promenade?
Thank you, Chair. If you can just give us a couple of minutes to have a look for that. sorry, Chair, thank you. Can I just make sure everyone's happy with me sharing this information as it is new information to the hearing today? Thank you. So the conditions that were added were the table and chair condition, the street scene policy has tables and chairs licence conditions. I can read all of those out. One of those being that you can amend or vary the licence at any time. But there's also 2 additional conditions that are tables and chairs will be placed in situ as the plan provided, and canvas barriers must surround the tables and chairs when in situ.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question. I didn't catch all the dates for the market licenses. When was the earliest market licensed? Was it 2003 or 2005? Sorry, I didn't catch it.
Thank you, Chair. 24th of November 2005.
We okay then? Right. Sorry. Mr. Hunter, would you like to address the committee? Your case forward, please.
Thank you. What I don't want to do is go over the representation. I would assume that council members have seen the representation and you've digested those, so I won't repeat myself too much. Apologies if I monologue slightly and go over bits. So I think as a recap, and I know Michelle has already done part of this, we were issued a pavement licence on the 11th of March. This licence allowed for 64 covers or chairs, if you like, within the area detailed within our licence that you would have seen. We received communication from Jake, having seen the layout of the antiques market, that the market should take precedence over our local business. This clause was not listed within our licence, and at the time Michelle agreed with the market that they were able to work around our footprint and we could trade as normal during that market. We subsequently held a meeting with a chap called John, who runs the antique market. We have a good relationship with him, and he said he was happy to continue to leave that gap with our setup moving forward. Hannah Ward kindly arranged a meeting with Dave Jones, who runs the Cotswold markets as well as the Christmas markets, on the 25th of April. At this meeting, Dave agreed that he was also happy to accommodate our seating area and amended his layout. And there is representation from him within your documents to say that he continues to be happy with that. His only stipulation was that during the Christmas period, he would like that area back for the market, of which we've said that's absolutely fine. We're not planning on outside diners during the winter months. We had one further issue on the 31st of May. I think market traders set up early and they were over our seating area. We managed to reach an amicable conclusion with the market holder on the day. They moved, but I did drop an email to Michelle, and I have asked her support in communicating our licence with the market in question, just so that it avoids any issues going forward. Following that email, we received an email from Sarah Hughes on the 13th of June, and I'm not going to go through the whole email, but the basis said, after much discussion, we can only see that the only solution is to require the removal of your tables and chairs near to the old telephone boxes and up to the tree during markets. Now, we weren't privy to this meeting. I believe Michelle and Sarah and Lewis were present. Michelle has sent me an overview of this meeting because, as far as we're concerned, this discussion forms the premise of this hearing here today. And the details of that were that there were concerns from both parties had been raised. Now, we're not aware of any concerns raised by any market stall holders up until this point, and we've not been made privy to any. That there was condition imposed on other operators. There may well be conditions imposed on other market operators. We've already discussed that this licence has been granted preceding market licences, and I think this opens a broader question regarding licensing policies, as highlighted by Max Wilkinson in his representation. There was concern over accessibility when the markets are in operation. There is a need to balance the markets and local businesses. that we held a meeting with Cotswold Markets to attempt a compromise. As I've mentioned, this was held and a compromise was reached, that the condition could have been imposed without the need for a hearing, and that Lewis Krog, if I get his name right, head of licensing, did not have any concerns per se. So I think, based on the premise of this meeting, and to summarise, we've not been shown any evidence up to this point that the markets are or have been affected in any trading. We've not been shown any evidence that the public is affected. We've not been shown any evidence of any issues of accessibility along the promenade. And we've maintained our area as per our licence. And the head of licensing does not have a concern. The licensing department have concluded that there are no other options here, despite the existing option in place of us working with the markets and that relationship between local business and market relationships working well. So at this point, we are a little none the wiser as to why there is a need to amend the licence and bring it to a committee today. Now, we have letters from key traders outlining they're happy to continue with the agreed layout and the relationships that we've formed with them. We're more than happy to hand over the seating area over the winter months for Christmas markets. Like I said, nobody is going to want to sit outside in December to eat. And our proposal would be just to add an addendum to the existing licence highlighting this agreement over the winter months rather than a full addition of an exemption clause. This would allow for a mutual and beneficial outcome for all parties involved on our side, on the way we see it. Removing or restricting the ability for us to make money during key trading dates places us in an extremely precarious position financially. Daytime and evening trade is now outperforming late nights in booking growth. Open Table confirmed in the first 6 months of 2025 that reservations between 12 noon and 6 p.m. have seen a 35% increase, where those after 7 p.m. have declined. So it is vital for us to have daytime trading space, and maximising that trade is becoming far more vital during the summer months due to the simple fact that in order to do that, we need tables and chairs. Now, we're fully aware that the Council and its members are not responsible for the increased pressures that the government has placed on the hospitality sector. In the first 6 months of 2025, the hospitality industry is losing 2 sites a day. Kate Nichols, the chair of UK Hospitality, says, "This isn't a statistic, but a hollowing out of our high streets and our communities. And the result of this is a sector in survival mode where investment is at standstill. And this has to be a time when those that can affect a change and support step up." Max Wilkinson, our MP, shares his concern, and within his representation, I highlight, "I know councillors are deeply concerned about the prosperity of our local hospitality industry. I would urge councillors and officers of the Borough Council to step back from the policy picture and look at the broader economic issues, then consider how best our town can support independent hospitality businesses. The Council is aware of the rising problem of empty units and the potential for national taxation policies to cause a tsunami of closures. Local councils cannot undo the errors made by governments, but they can support local independent hospitality businesses like Japes within existing policies. I trust this will begin with the current Japes licence matter under consideration alongside a deeper consideration of related issues." I'd also like to quote from Cheltenham Council's corporate plan, which is online from 2023 to 2027. There are a number of points which I think are very important here. One, we're setting a higher standard for ourselves and our town to build a better future for everyone in Cheltenham, ensuring that everyone who lives and works here can equally share the benefits of Cheltenham's success. Secondly, we will continue to develop our local networks and partnerships, working to ensure residents, communities and businesses are best placed to take advantage of these opportunities. This will include building on our strengths in hospitality. Working with partners to ensure that all of our communities benefit from the investment and growth in our town by embedding our approach to social value. Identify and drive opportunities in all aspects of economic development across Cheltenham at every level, using economic evidence and data to inform our priorities and outcomes, and supporting the promotion of Cheltenham as a place to do business. So I'm asking that the members vote on this matter, and how they vote affects a local business and their ability to trade, but it also sets a precedence on how the council supports its businesses and whether it chooses to act in line with these policies. I would urge you to find and help to find a resolution that works for everyone, such as the resolution that is already in place between us and the market stallholders, and to show your support for the hospitality sector in Cheltenham.
Councillor Boyes.
Thank you. Thanks for coming along today and for explaining that all and putting your case forward. Really appreciate that. Just a few little technical questions that I have. Within the report that you submitted, thanks for doing that, it suggested that you have a good relationship with the two of the markets, and the officer's report suggests that the license holder has been in dispute with the operating market since the license was issued. So I was just trying to figure out if there is still a dispute going on with the markets, or if that's been resolved with all of the markets, because you've mentioned that the antique market and the Cotswold market, they're supportive of you, they're happy to work around. But there are other markets like the vegan market, the arts and crafts market. Do you have a similar support from them? And yeah, I think that's my only two questions at the moment. Thanks.
Okay. Yes, we do have a good relationship with them. I think at the beginning, because there was confusion between, they didn't know our licence, they had their licence, we didn't know who to turn to. I'm sure there was confusion there. Now, since then, we had a meeting with Dave, who owns Cotswold Markets, is the larger of the markets, and that was kindly arranged by Hannah, and we had that here at the offices. I spoke to Dave just last week, and we have a fantastic relationship. John, who runs the antique markets, is also, he was said he would send us a letter in. He's busy. He said apologies, he hasn't had time to do that. The other markets we haven't had any issues with. They've always left gaps. They haven't come up as far as us on occasion, so it hasn't really been an issue up to this point. If we have had any, we've just spoken to them and they've said not a problem. We're happy just to leave a small gap, and it's worked. I think we're in a place now where everyone is happy and looking to move forward. John has said, who runs the antique market, he would rather have us operating in and around his markets because it benefits people sitting in and amongst his markets. That benefits traders. So whilst I agree at the beginning, there was a bit of frustration because we both effectively had the same licence. I think we've reached an accord now where we're all comfortable. I think that answers the question for you.
Are there any other? Councillor Willingham.
So thank you for coming. Thank you for the representation. I'm just trying to work out how you've got to the 44 and the 88 covers. I have a feeling that there's an error in the drawing because you're licensed for 64. There are 23 directly outside the premises, and there's only 41 seats shown on the drawings that we've got. So I'm trying to work out where this 44 has come from, whether it's an error that's propagated through, because obviously we need to just make sure that the facts are correct. And where you've said that you're losing 88 covers, I'm assuming that's twice this 44, but that's come from a drawing that's got the wrong number on it. So how have you got to those? I'm just trying to work out how you got to those costs, because it doesn't quite sit with me in, if one number is wrong, you're working out your revenue based on a wrong drawing rather than looking at the revenue and then giving us that figure back. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah, a lot of numbers. I think so. Our license allows for 64 covers. When it's very hot, we have around between 40 and 44 underneath the tree area because customers find the heat too much. So they will sometimes ask to move a little bit over that way. During the hotter days, our busier area is under the tree rather than in front of our restaurant, because it's outside of direct sunlight. The covers that I'm giving you, so what we've done is we've looked at the days where we've used that area fully. We've worked out how many times we use those tables, and then that's a rough covers. It's not necessarily a number of seats times X. We know we're using around 88 covers between the period of 12 and 5. And that's where we work out the figures. The figures that we're working at are accurate figures as well. We can see the data from our till systems as to what's going through as well. Okay.
Are there any more members' questions?
Thank you. Am I permitted to ask another question of the officer? It's not a question for the applicant, it's just that I've just realised something as we were asking these questions. Thanks. Is there anything, something that just strikes me as something missing here, is there anything within the license for the markets that actually states where they should exactly be? I mean, if we're talking about dispute over where Japes' cover seats are and where the market's meant to be, is that not clearly aligned in both of the licenses so there doesn't need to be any confusion?
Thank you, Chair. When the markets apply for their consent, they submit a site layout plan which goes out to consultation. So these site layout plans have encroached on the same area as Japes.
Any more questions? Can't think of anything myself, but yes, Mr. Hunter, you have your final right of reply then to any questions, any comments you'd like to make to sum up before we go to our debate.
I don't think there's anything further I need to add at this point. I think I've probably summarised everything. I think hopefully I've answered any questions well. I mean, yeah, we're really kind of in your hands now, and I think from our side, I think that's our case. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you then. So it's now past. If we say we will adjourn till about 20 minutes, 10 to. Thank you. Sorry, it was a little longer than I said. We have made a decision. Can I ask the legal officer to read it out for us, please?
Thank you, Chair. The council is the arbitrator of the highway space, and it can therefore only allocate that space to one licensee at any one time. So all relevant licenses in relation to that space need to be varied. The applicant has been given a hearing tonight, and it is therefore unreasonable to remove space from the markets without giving them the opportunity to have a similar hearing. The committee proposes to adjourn this hearing to get licensing to convene a meeting with all parties to reach agreement on what each licence needs to be varied to include. Either agree, those parties are to agree with licensing and the chair of the licence committee signs that off, or it comes back to committee with all parties to come back and make representations to the committee to make a decision. The committee want all parties to be given the opportunity. Failure to attend or submit a response or representation will lead to a decision being made in their absence. The proposal of the committee is that the agreement that the applicant currently has is honoured pending that decision. They propose the 1st of October committee if no agreement is reached by mid-September. Irrespective, the committee say that the licence needs a condition that the Christmas market takes precedence over anything else. The reason for that is that the land can only be allocated once and it needs to be unambiguous who needs to use it when. So the proposal is you continue with your current agreement and that everybody gets around the table with licensing to work it out, because licenses are going to need to be altered. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, you're clear on that, are you? Thank you for attending. Sorry, we couldn't give you a finite decision tonight.
No, that's fine. It makes complete sense. I think we're moving a step forward. I appreciate your time. And yes, I think getting us all around the table and reaching an accord is probably the best solution.
Thank you very much. And with that, I have no other business that I deem urgent. So with that, I'll close the meeting. Thank you very much.